Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Mercury Retrograde that started on the 14th of January. Here we are. This is the first retrograde of 2022. First Mercury retrograde of 2022. Retrogrades, as you may know, are a time to look back. When a planet is retrograde, it's perceived to spin backwards from our perspective here on Earth. So it's not actually spinning backwards, but we see it that way, so we take that as a hint. In this case, Mercury rules communication. So this is a time where communication can break down. You can have delays. There can be confused communication, miscommunication, stumbling over your words. If that happens a lot, hey, it's not irony. It's real life. Devices themselves may break down. Maybe you're trying to do something, get something done, working from home, or whatever, something on your phone, your computer, it might glitch, stop working. Your internet might be cutting in and out all the time. Maybe your phone says I got service, but it's not working. Whatever. These things might happen. You could find your timing is off more during this period. So like you're late or missing appointments or commitments due to circumstances outside of your control. So when that happens, don't freak out. If it's outside of your control, why are you stressing yourself out about it? Just know, and it can be hard in this time because when things like that happen, it's important to communicate what's happened, especially if there's someone waiting on you on the other side. And so like that could be, maybe something happens that's outside your control and you miss a commitment, and then someone gets upset with you and you're trying to communicate and there's miscommunication. Just take a breath. Everybody take a breath. It's not uncommon in this time. It's okay to feel a little frazzled. Just, So what is constructive in this time? What's a good use of it? Mercury is retrograde on average about as much as you're asleep on average, right? So you sleep for about a third of your lives. And about a third of our lives, Mercury is retrograde, making it a really good parallel to that energy, right? Mercury retrograde, this is a period of integration to take the past 3 months, right? And look at it all, process it and integrate it. Just like when you're sleeping, your body rests, processes, and integrates everything that's happened to it during that day. So don't forget that. Take on activities during this time frame that are re-activities. Rewrite, redo, review, remodel if you want to, I guess. Renovate, restore, reschedule, repair, whatever word. There's more. There's so many more. The retrograde is beginning in Aquarius. And then on the 25th, it will enter Capricorn, where it will stay until it stations direct in February. So both signs, Aquarius and Capricorn, are ruled by Saturn, which is the planet of maturity, responsibility, taking stewardship. And this could be the most impactful Mercury retrograde of this year, of which there are 4 this year. The last one starts on December 29th of this year, so it's a retrograde into 2023. So typically there are three Mercury retrogrades every year. This one we have 4 starting in. So this is a very powerful year, and this retrograde specifically is very powerful. So allow that Aquarius energy to help you tear down all those structures and ideas that don't serve you anymore, right? And then use that Capricorn energy to help you reinforce and build up that which is working, right? So these are very strong energies that are almost paradoxical, but that gives them strength in that you find. It's almost that tower that we talked about, right? That tearing down and rebuilding, which tracks really well. I know that the readings were for the Gregorian calendar, which is like the new year starts on January 1st. But if we're looking at astrologically, if you're feeling a little trying to get that gear in, we said this is a year of energy shift, and which is true. But Aquarius is the first sign of the zodiac. So there's a buffer, right? Don't feel like you have to rush to start the things that you're trying to implement right now. This is a period, think of January 1st to March, really, as kind of a buffer for your period to like get it together. And then Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. And so that is, in a sense, our second new year, right? So this retrograde will have you taking a look at what isn't working in your life. So questions you can ask yourself: what are my needs? What is working for me? What isn't, right? How do you stand up for yourself? Are you achieving balance in your relationships, right? Are you setting boundaries and holding them? Whatever way that looks like. Are you getting, enough rest? Enough you time? So let's get into some tarot. I'm doing it a little differently this time. A friend of mine actually made these little, they're like tarot runes. I didn't purchase them from anywhere. They're handmade, homemade. They're the little tiny tarot cards, and then she put resin on each side. So what I do is I'm putting them all face down, and I'm just going to give them a swirl, and whatever flips up, we're going to pull that aside and we'll talk about it, and then we'll clarify with some other cards, and we'll do like a normal read. 1 second. I gotta blow my nose. Hopefully you all are staying warm and feeling well. I had a little bout of sickness, getting better, but my nose likes to run for a long time after the race is done. Anyway, all right. So what message taken to Mercury retrograde for the next 3 weeks, right? So we'll connect. Small, but I'll show them to you. All right. So the first one is the Seven of Swords. I'll just show them all to you, and then we'll talk about them. Excuse me. The Two of Wands. King of Swords. The Eight of Cups. The Wheel of Fortune. The Sun. And the King of Pentacles. And these are all the Rider-Waite version, so if you want to look them up to see the picture bigger, or you're just curious. All right, so let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll pull some clarifying cards for everything. I'm gonna get my pile of tarot runes out of the way. All right, so we've got swords, lots of swords. We got some wands, some cups, and some pentacles. So we got everything. Seven of Swords is, in a sense, deceit. The person on the card is holding a bunch of swords, and they're running away from a few that are stuck in the ground, and it can be deceit. It can be getting away with something. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It's just it can feel heavy. It can be, beware of deceiving those around you. Like, make sure you're bringing your most authentic self to the table, as well as being aware of the energies around you. Sometimes people deceive you on purpose. Sometimes people subconsciously deceive you based on their conditioning, and it's not necessarily that they're trying to bring you down or do something to you, but hurt people. Felt called to say that a little bit. So like if that means anything to you, you know, be aware of who you are in relationships in your life and just take stock of those around you. It doesn't mean everyone's out to get you. It's not like, I'm not telling you to doubt everyone around you and be like, what are your intentions? But like, in a sense, yes, what are your intentions? If you can't tell. So like running from responsibility as well, like retrograde is, we talked about like taking responsibility. And so perhaps there's something that you need to take responsibility for, and it doesn't have to be anything super intense like a sword fight or like anything like that. If it is, take responsibility for it. But for real, like in all senses, it's really important for us to own what we've done and not diminish. And it doesn't necessarily mean bad things or, you know what I mean, whatever arena that is in. Like own your successes, own your shortcomings, own when you've done something that's hurt someone else, even if that wasn't your intention, right? We don't get to tell somebody that they weren't hurt by what we did or said. Our intention may have been pure, but if it hurts somebody, that's a space to process through it, right? Again, this is not the time to do that. Give it a few weeks, you know, let the air clear if that's something you're dealing with. And then have a communication with that person about, you know, what you were intending to bring forward and like how that affected them and like working through it, you know, especially if it's someone important to you. Don't let a misunderstanding destroy a relationship. And be adventurous, right? So the Two of Wands is about, it's kind of about travel. It can be about travel, but it's something new. It's a new adventure, could be a new job, a new relationship, but it's adventure and it's setting out on a journey. The individual is holding one of the wands and looking out on everything there is, all the places to go. You know, there's so many possibilities, and this is a new chapter, right? Well, let the retrograde like wash that slate clean almost, you know, reevaluating and renewing all that stuff. King of Swords is about, you know, swords are our words, they're our thoughts. So the King of Swords is swift. He speaks eloquently. He, you know, has forethought and stability there. So again, take this period to think about some things, right? Think about how you're approaching things, how things are affecting you, what could be changed to be different. You know, are your thoughts affecting how you are seeing yourself, perceiving yourself? Excuse me. Are they affecting just overall how you engage with the world and how you engage with yourself? Remember, your thoughts and words and actions, but like thoughts and words create your reality. They create your actions essentially, like through how you speak about and to yourself and how you think about yourself will shape how you engage with the world. So remember, this is a period, 8 of Cups, to release what's no longer serving you. You know, in this card, there's spilled cups, and he's walking away from them before they all spill. This card is also kind of associated, well, not kind of, it is associated with the Hermit. So like it's walking away. It could be walking away from conflict for a moment, you know, like we just talked about, like walk away from something, give it time to settle, and then come back to it, you know, if you feel called to. But if it's something that's not working, it's time to release it and walk to the next chapter, walk through the valley to the next, I don't know, field of opportunity. And know that the wheel keeps on turning, right? Things continue to happen. There's a cycle. Time is not linear, it's cyclical. It just goes, right? And to get hung up on one thing or one problem or one way of being or one whatever, just getting hung up and like staying in this moment in time or staying in that moment in time, not beneficial, because everything continues, everything happens, you know, like every single thing is created and lives a lifetime and is destroyed eventually, right? Like whether mineral, animal, it doesn't matter. This cycle continues on, and there's a continuous flow. So to get like, don't get hung up in a situation. If you have one, don't get hung up in a moment. Don't get hung up on retrograde, right? Just allow things to come, right? If you're moving through things and you're working on things and you're actively processing the information and then allowing that to integrate, then this time will probably not be too intense. You know what I mean? I mean, it can still be intense. But you will see those things come up and you will say, I'm expecting this, or I know how to handle this, right? Sun is telling me that will be the case in essence. Like this retrograde, allow this retrograde just to show you things about where you may fall short in communication with yourself, with those around you, you know, where you may fall short in taking a breath. Like places that you allow yourself to get worked out to your detriment, you know, and a lot of that can come from past experiences, and I understand that. We're all processing through a lot, and especially now there's a lot of light being cast on what isn't considered trauma, right? There's a lot of us that have things that have happened to us and we look back and we're like, oh, that was trauma. Those things can catch up with you, right? And some of us have trauma around communication and relationships. And so allowing this time to just be what it is and to heal through it. And remember, all the work you do, you're doing for yourself. You can't do this work for anyone else. So if a certain hang up comes to mind or a relationship that's a little rocky or troublesome, all you can do is your work. All you can do is what you need to do to work through that. And in that, the other individual, party, entity, whatever it is you're working with, will either also do work, or you'll realize again, what's no longer serving me needs to be removed, and what can serve me and grow with me, I'll bring in. So just know that as you do the work for yourself, whatever that looks like for you, you will feel that shift, and those things will effortlessly leave and come in depending on what it is and what you need. And the King of Pentacles is that comfort, that stability. Pentacles are about material things, not necessarily money. It can be material possessions, worldly things, tangible aspects of life. So this is, you know, it's abundance and it's security and it's stability. And this retrograde can bring all of us that. It's, again, integrating things as they come up, right? We're going back to the Seven of Swords. Like if you're having any conflict or need to resolve some things and take ownership for some stuff, like now's the time to do that. By doing that, you'll find stability and security within yourself, because when we're sovereign in ourself and we're owning every single piece of what makes us, from there we go to find that security and that stability, because no one can rock you if you know everything about yourself, even if it's what you would perceive a shortcoming. If you know your shortcomings, like if you've got your shadow unlocked, then nobody can use it, throw it in your face. So I think those cards sum up what we talked about with retrograde pretty well. I'm going to pull some clarifiers for each of them, and we will go from there. I think retrogrades can be a very interesting time too, because they show us all the areas that we need to do work, right? But they're also a space to stop, to slow down, and to just be. So it's essentially like you're taking notes on what actions need to be taken, but it's not time for action. Duality, paradox. right? So along with the Seven of Swords, we have the Seven of Cups. This one is about decision, finding balance. Again, like emotions. Don't overwhelm yourself with things to do, with tasks, with decisions. If you're feeling overwhelmed with decisions, then this card is essentially telling you you have to make one. Make a decision, and that could be, you know, where you're deceiving yourself, perhaps. Like, I don't know what to do. I can never figure this out. Yes, you can. And the Seven of Cups is showing you that you can, right? There's, if you can see, all kinds of different animals in these cups. But it's, your mind is your kingdom, and it can get overwhelmed and it can get inundated. And so it's important for us to be able to take a second, take a breath, and take stock of everything. And again, this is decisions. Okay, what's no longer serving me? What do I need to release? Maybe you have all these things swirling in your mind, and as you start to take out the pieces that aren't really there for you in your best interest, wow, that's so many less things I have to decide between or look at or whatever it may be. It's just essentially not an overwhelmed mind, but there's a lot. And so know that you can make those decisions. You know, the King of Cups, you're the master of your emotions. Even if the waves get rocky, like, you stay in the boat, your boat stays up, it can ride the waves, it's built for it. King of Cups is this display of emotional maturity. And so coming in along with that Two of Wands, it's saying that, like, no matter what the next adventure is, no matter what is here to face you, no matter what you see when you look out over your kingdom, you are the king of your kingdom, right? You're the ruler of your emotions, this strength and this resilience and this ability to ebb and flow in the ocean, right? The king of emotions, the king of emotions. Essentially, the King of Cups is the King of Emotions. The King of Cups is not about hiding your emotions or being strong or not feeling your emotions because you're the king. No, he is an emotional king. He is telling you that if that masculine energy within you is telling you to not show your emotions, he's saying, let it roll, babe. Cry, scream, laugh, whatever the emotion is, you know? Be silly. If no one around you is being silly, don't feel like you can't be silly. I mean, read the room, I guess. But, like, if you're surrounded by a lot of heavy energy, don't feel like you can't be the joyful one or the silly one. If people don't want to be around that or they're mad by your happiness, they can leave. Don't let anyone bring your joy down. Along with the King of Swords, we have the King of Wands, right? So Wands are passion, their drive, their fire energy, it's ambition. The King of Wands is very secure, very stable, knows how to delegate, right? And so in terms of, like, the King of Swords, you're talking about thoughts, being on top of our thoughts, being, like, having clear thought. That helps you become that king, that delegator, that ability to lead, right? This is a leader card. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to lead a group or a family or a tribe or whatever, but, like, be the leader in your own environment, right? You rule. You get to determine what happens here and here. It's my heart. Can't really see it, but this will be my heart for now. You get to determine that, you know, you rule this kingdom. You delegate. Hey, that thought doesn't serve me. It has to go. That emotion is telling me something and I don't really like it, but let's listen to it. You know, let's see what's up. Eight of Cups. it can be kind of a heartbreak in a way, because you're walking away from something that you have been involved in, engaged with, invested in. And so walking away, the reverse 5 of Pentacles, you can feel that, you know, maybe you're afraid to walk away from those things that aren't serving you because you're afraid that, well, if I walk away, then I'll lose maybe money, security, stability. This is a poverty card. You know, 5s are about change. They're about challenge. The 5 of Pentacles is about challenge and change in maybe a financial state, or, you know, a living situation, something tangible. I'm tangible, so I guess I'm a pentacle. Something tangible and real, like a home situation, or a monetary situation, or an asset situation, something happening with your material goods. You might feel that, you know, this is supposed to be a time of transition and change into better, into more on the upswing. But remember that 5 of Pentacles, that 2021 energy is going to carry through, and we're probably going to feel it till about Aries season, right? So, like, remember that the wheel is turning, and the wheel is turning to show us that although there's that feeling of poverty, and there may be a feeling of heartache, heartbreak, sadness, right? Like, this is a heartache card, but it coincides with the wheel, and it's showing us that we'll feel moments like this, because I don't think you can live a well-rounded life if you don't feel those heavy emotions, because by feeling that, it gives perspective to those light emotions, right? And without one, how do we perceive the other the way it is, right? If there was no happiness, how would we know what heartache is? Sadness. So use those emotions to help you heal, to help you grow through whatever situation is bringing that feeling. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel heartbroken. It's time to release, right? Whatever is making you feel this way, it's not serving you. And it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to feel that way. You know, maybe you're releasing something. Maybe there's a relationship that's not serving you, and the wheel on that's turning, and it's time to release that. And it hurts. You know it's best for you, but it hurts. It's okay to feel this, right? This is a reminder in that sense, you know? And this too, because it's in the middle of some very good cards, but these are reminders that, like, those feelings are there. They're not going to go away. Things come in an upswing. You get successful. You're finding that energy. You're striving forward. You're making it happen. You're still going to feel those at times. Doubt, lack, sadness. You know, you're going to feel these things, because without those things, you can't feel that success and that high, that up, right? Don't forget that. The world reversed. The world. The world is that culmination of things, right? It's all the suits together, so it's well-rounded. And the reverse, to me, the feeling I'm getting with this retrograde energy is that, like, you're well-rounded. And this is a time to integrate that deeper, right? Those pentacles, those cups, emotions, those swords, those thoughts and words, those wands, that passion, that drive, right? Just stop for a second, just integrate more fully and deeply, and allow everything to come together. So this is the embodiment of all that you are, right? You are the world. You are your kingdom. You are sovereign. And find that inner strength, you know, and that the sun, that corresponded with the sun. So the sun is so good. The sun is like the happiest card in the deck. I don't even remember if I talked about it or did I skip over it. Channeled it. Can't even remember. But that, you know, that's like new beginnings, bright opportunities. Like, it's so positive. It's so good. And it's corresponding with the world. Don't let the world reverse scare you. Reversals aren't necessarily a negative thing. It could just be an area where you're not seeing how complete you are. You're not seeing your power everything you have and everything you bring to the table. And the King of Pentacles, that stable card, like strength reversed. Maybe what's holding you back from that security and that stability, that feeling, is seeing your own strength. You doubt yourself. You're doubting the abilities you have to persevere and to push forward and to break through those walls. You know, it's like running a race. You run a race and you get to a certain point and everything starts to hurt. Your lungs feel like they're going to explode. Your heart feels like it's going to explode. You got blood in the back, taste of blood in the back of your throat. Your knees are jello, but you're pushing through, right? And anybody who's run a race knows that you get to a certain point where you hit this wall. But if you keep pushing, you break through it. You get what we call a second wind. And, you know, you pass the finish line and you need the rest and you want to, like, sit down and pass out, but you still have this energy surging through you and, like, that go, right? And so it's like that, is knowing that, like, if you feel like you're hitting that wall, push through, you know, break through. There's a second wind. It's everything kind of goes in waves, the second winds and stuff, you know? Like, if you think about, maybe you've started a new venture and you're feeling like it's failing, you know, everything was going good and then it dropped off. Pretty much everything works like that. Relationships, new ventures, there's that period, we call it the honeymoon period. It can be prolonged, but there's always a dip, right? Everything goes up and then reality kicks in, whether it's a relationship or a business you're starting or, you know, whatever it is. And there's this period of, like, reality kicking in, and that's not saying that reality can't be a high. You can't have happiness as your reality, but it's just all the things that you may have not been looking at because you're feeling on top of the world, and then breaking through that and building back up after that. It's a longer curve, but you'll get there. And so if you're feeling like, oh, everything was good and now let's get your second wind, just keep going. It's good. You are strong. Right. All right. Swords, wands, pentacles. It's tied all together. I just pulled a few more. Two of Pentacles. It's that balance, right? It's that work-life balance. It's making sure that you are balanced. You are giving time to yourself, to those you've committed to or want to commit to, as well as whatever you're working towards, whatever you're working on, whatever your job may be. You can juggle it. If it's meant to serve you, it will be easier to juggle in a way that makes sense and feels comfortable. So make sure, again, you know, with those things that aren't serving you, if it's something that's serving you, look into how you can find the balance there. And this is in the tangible aspects of life. Find balance and speak your truth. Stick up for yourself. Make sure you don't go the other way. Don't be bitchy about it. But be sovereign, you know. Know that words can cut, but words also are tools to shape, right? To reshape things. So that knife it can be a weapon and a tool. But stand in your truth, guard your thoughts, make sure that you are thinking things that will propel you forward. And if you find yourself stuck in a thought rut, like, work yourself through that. Wait a second, why am I thinking that? Where did that come from? What's happening here? You're not resting enough, right? This card's all about meditation, rest, sleep. Like, you're pushing too hard forward. Take this time, this retrograde period, to rest. Allow it to be rejuvenating, right? Activities with the re in them. Replenish, rejuvenate, renew. Take that time, you know. You've been persevere, right? But you've been pushing a little bit too hard. Look how stressed out he looks. It's a 9 of Wands. It's a perseverance card. Or maybe you're kind of hitting a wall. Maybe you feel like you can't go anymore. That's okay. Take some time to rest. But keep pushing forward with that energy, with those thoughts. You know, if you're feeling called to create something, do that. But know that if you're pushing and you find yourself on that, up against some kind of wall, don't keep pushing. Don't keep pushing on a locked door. Take a second and maybe you'll find another door. Or maybe, you know, that door's not open right now. You gotta come back in the hours of operation. So things are good. The sun and the wheel. I mean, it's all good. It's all good. It's just that balance, that, you know, being honest with ourselves, standing up for what we've done, or just who we are. Stand up for yourself. Speak truth. Balance your emotions, you know. King of Swords and the Queen of Swords in this read. We got the King of Wands. We got the King of Pentacles. You know, there's a lot of royalty. The sun, the wheel, strength, the world, you know, there's those major cards. It's well-rounded. It's a time of balance. You know, 222, 2022. It's a year of balance. So don't be surprised if you get a lot of messages about finding that balance within yourself, emotional, within your life, within your thoughts, within every aspect. You know, it's time to find balance. Things have been unbalanced for a very long time in our world, in our society, in our hearts, in our relationships. And it's bringing us down. So it's time to fix all that. And that happens through clear communication. And clear communication comes from a self-evaluation. And that's what this period is for. This period isn't necessarily the time to try clear communication. It's a time to try to understand where the hang-ups are so that we can come forward with that in the next step. Some oracle cards for us. We got some sassy ones. I've got some tender ones. Some animals. You know how it is. Sassy ones are extra sassy. If you feel triggered, take a moment, sit with it. Why? Where's it coming from, right? I feel that a lot with my tarot cards. I'm like, all right, why are you being mean? Oh, because I gotta do something. But first, let's smile, right? Sit in that ocean of emotion. But, you know, this isn't saying like, oh, don't worry about the bad things. Don't process them. Don't look at those emotions. No. You can find joy in everything, right? Joy is a state of being. Happiness is an emotion. You do not always have to be happy. There is moments where everything feels like it's going wrong. The best thing to do is practice gratitude. All right, everything's falling apart. What do I have to be grateful for right now? You know, even if it's your own beating heart, is all you can think of. Just find that joy. You know, smile within. Even if you can't smile on the outside, find something to smile about within. And that will help you bring that emotion more into your reality. And you'll start to see those weighty, heavy things fall away because you're finding these pieces of joy amongst everything. And you're going with the flow, right? Everything just happens. There's an ebb and flow. It's not always fun. It's not always nah. But then sometimes it is, you know, it's the highs and the lows. It's that flow. We're just going through life. It just is, right? And emotions come up and we say, that's how I'm reacting, responding to this situation. Let's sit with that. Let's process. Why? Where's that coming from? Da, 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 da. Flow, flow, flow. I don't know if any of you are going through emotional issues right now, but this one is about that, essentially. It just says stop texting, stop stalking, stop checking on that person. Just fucking stop. Spend your time on someone worth it. Don't waste it on ridiculousness. So whatever relationship this is, romantic, business, a friend, whatever hard connection comes to mind, like, it's important to have people in your life that appreciate you as much as you appreciate them. Every relationship should be about balance and finding balance. And codependency is a huge thing. It's huge. Working on my own codependent tendencies, you know, finding that balance. But as you work on and heal yourself and you find these tendencies within yourself, whatever they may be, the relationships that are enabling those tendencies will start to fall off. So stop fucking whining. No one wants to listen to that shit. Complaining makes you weak. You have the strength to change your world, so do it. Again, acceptance is key. Accept where you are, accept how you feel, and now accept what you have to do to change that. And then take the steps and know that it's not going to be a switch, right? Healing's a dance, not a light switch. So be sovereign, set boundaries. Don't be in relationships that don't serve you anymore. Don't be in situations that don't serve you anymore. Don't be in your head negative about an ongoing situation or just continuing that trend. Because an object in motion stays in motion. And so if your thoughts are continuously negative, then you're not going to change that. You're not just going to wake up one day and be happy. Something's going to have to change for that to happen. And that change starts within. And that change starts with seeing all the places we have to be grateful, even when we're in a period of struggle. So do that. Look at everything you have to be grateful for. But allow yourself to feel, right? It's that flow. Ride the waves. Take the spirit of the peacock with you. Vibrancy. You're born to shine and inspire. Practice humility to avoid jealousy. Be grateful for life and more good things will come. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. I think that's pretty straightforward. You know? Get that inner peacock. Be vibrant. Remember, the world is your oyster. The wheel is what I wanted to say. The wheel continues to turn. The sun will come out. Allow yourself to make decisions, you know, because indecision is just as bad as what you perceive to be the wrong decision, because you've made a decision to not make a decision. So now it's not up to you. So make the decisions you need to in your life. Take the reins in your own existence. And settle into this retrograde. Just ride it. It's 3 weeks. 3 weeks of flow, right? All right. So that's Mercury retrograde. I hope wherever you guys are, you are warm. It was -6 degrees here last night. With wind chill, making it like in the 20s, -20s. So yeah, I hope you guys are warm wherever you may be. Take this, meditate with it, sit with it. If you're looking for a personal reading, there is a link down below where you can find a place to book them. It's my Beacons link. Join my Patreon. That's getting started up again. You know, you get monthly readings and a lot of energy readings, some blogs. Fell off for a little bit there. Had to reevaluate a lot in my own reality, but 2022 is seeming like it's to come up. So thank you for being on this journey with me. Yeah, share this with your friends. Go ahead and subscribe so that you get notifications for the full moons, the new moons, retrogrades, and zodiac transits. This week we've got boom, boom, boom with all of those. So don't miss out. And take time to integrate. Take time to meditate. Take time to levitate. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next now moment. Enjoy your day, night, moment.